All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Friday Fighters podcast. Welcome. We watched Hazings today, and he spoke about trials and basically just running through and testing things out. Being able to fail time and time again is a thing in this game, and that's one of the. I noticed a big topic or of contention in this server is that a lot of people have this view that there's one right way to play, and if you're not doing that one way, then you're doing it wrong. And it irks me to my core. And Zangief was just mentioning, you want to restate what you were saying, because that's you hit
Oh
on.
yeah, for sure. So game progression and content clearing is different for everybody because the nature of the game is different for everybody. We're dealing with a lot of RNG when it comes to acquiring units and gear and cars. So the experience is inherently different for between every single user. I mean, some things can be similar, but it's not specifically the same unless not a complete duplicate. So in regards to Dante's trials in the event, a lot of people were having a lot more problems with this
Yeah,
trial
yeah,
map than other
absolutely.
ones.
I
Yeah.
I
So
struggled hard. I was trying to record a video for it, and I was getting my
yeah.
butt handed to me. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
something's not right.
So uh I made a guide for Street Poisons one, and Street Poisons one is so easy. I think they really dialed it up for Dante's, and by rightfully so, because Dante as a character, whether you have opinions about his balancing or strength, the way that he works is you can transform him into the demon mode, but that changes your whole team dynamic right there. The way that I approach the trials was, how do I get him to demon mode and then just super, and that really cleared up a lot of the content for me right there. But the caveat was you have to play on auto. You cannot expect to use Dante at all on autoplay.
You mean manual?
I mean, aside from maybe putting him at tag for his combo 3 or some of the other stuff, but his super is very, very useful. Like
Well,
him being able to stun units is very, very useful in the trials.
I would like to
So I think,
actually touch on Dante because that's he's one of the topics. Yeah, I want to go back to what you stated on the trials, though. Do you
yeah,
feel that they up the difficulty of the trials, or do you could I'll put a counterpoint. Could it be
I
that
think
Dante is just that bad?
I
Which
would
one
say
is
it's a
it?
little bit of both.
A
I
little
would
bit of
honestly
both.
say it's a little bit of both. You look at the trials. There wasn't a lot of tanky options on a good amount of those fights where it had a lot of tanky didn't have tanky options. Like the last fight that, or the second to the last fight that Hayes did, where he had to choose between Rose and Gen. Those are really high power units, but the team crumbles after you lose one unit because the opponent is so strong. So you've got to kind of pick and choose the units that you understand how they work. But it's also a good way to learn how Dante works in general, and I think it was by design. I'm being really ambitious by saying that. But I think it's by design that the Dante trials were a little bit tougher than what we're used to because he takes some getting used to using as a character. Whether or not that means he's strong, I couldn't say. I'm not subscribing to the idea that Dante is going to change the metagame, like
Absolutely
how
not.
Monster Hunter can change the metagame.
Yeah,
Um,
I've yet to hear someone say that Dante's changing the metagame, but if they are, I would definitely like some evidence to say, like,
Yo,
to see
Dante is
that.
disgusting.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm
Dante
saying.
is disgusting.
Let's open the
Dante
floor
is
to like
disgusting.
those,
Devil's
like, if
advocate.
anyone got him. First of all, let's ask the question: how many people actually got him, and how high do you guys have him? I got one copy, and that's it.
And
I also have one
and went
copy.
back for Akuma. I just wanted him in the collection. I could tell from the trials he's not that good.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus. What about you, Geef? How many you got?
You know what my problem is? Fashion Blanca has set a bar that I can't see a lot of units now surpassing.
Interesting. You mentioned Fashion Blanca. Why do you see him as the bar?
It's his AoE damage over time. If you look at his bonuses from his cars as well, it's pretty insane what he does.
Would you now here's my question. Would it be a better comparison to Monster Hunter Ken because of the whole collab title, or are we just basing it as like how good Fashion Blanca is as a unit as a whole?
Well, there's a few criteria. So, firstly, you got to compare him to Akuma because they're both in the same pool of
True.
special summons, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Which one's better out of the two? Akuma, clearly, especially when it comes to like boss fights. Akuma's going to do more damage always, unless someone figures out something that I haven't seen with Dante.
I think that Dante does something that Akuma doesn't. You know, like when you look at somebody who you have to play against, right, and they have 3 teams, instinctively, like the first thing I do is I look at a team and I'm like, oh, his Bison team. You know what I mean? Like I have A, B, and C, and I just have to beat him twice. Oh, I'll just lose to his Bison team and I'll play his other 2 teams. Now I can look at the other team and I'll see the Dante team and I'm like, I don't know if I can beat his Dante team.
Why?
You know, it's that strong of a unit.
What does Dante do that gives you that trepidation of fighting him?
So one thing. Sorry,
his super that stun really stymies a lot of the momentum that you could even attempt to create. And then you have the demon form, and then the demon form super it's pretty insane what it did in the trials when I was able to pull it off.
You know, one thing I want to point out as well, he's a bit like Flame Chun-Li, where you have to switch the combo around because from what I've read,
if anything, I would.
That's where your statement about the PvP doesn't hold value
it has
because
to play in auto.
It has to exactly. Super Showdown is in auto. You can't control what's happening. So seeing a Dante wouldn't phase me as much as me seeing like a built-up flame team. You know.
So you think in future iterations they'll have the same problem, right? Because like they're trying to make the game innovative and cool, and like give you like, oh, you need to use his combo 1, and then the next time you use your combo string, combo 2. The next time you combo, use his super. You know, like we can't really play around with combos if half of the game is set to auto only.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't really understand. I guess that maybe their focus is not PvP. Like it could be that PvP is there because most games have to have a PvP outlook. That could probably be. I honestly don't understand why PvP is on auto.
Yeah, I can't see them because the thing is, there's a lot of bot battles as well. So when you look at what do you call it? The
Path of Fire, Guilds, or Crusade.
No, what's the one in Arena? Battle Royale. That's it. Battle Royale.
Oh, Battle Royale. That's Daniel.
Battle Royale and Draft Mode are the only 2 where you actually might come across an actual person on the other side, but if you don't, you're facing a bot. So, you know, like, but I can't, unless they, at some point do put manual on, I can't see them doing it.
And then
if I can get,
go ahead.
If I can get philosophical, just like let's view the concept and try to do proof of concept. So if you've ever played a Devil May Cry game or even a God of War game or any of these other hack and slash games that focus on combos, if you look at Dante, and he's a crossover character, right?
I never thought about it like that.
In his own game, he's like a combo focused character. You're supposed to do all of these flashy combos with special abilities and weapons. That's what you're supposed to do with him in his own game. So proof of concept, Devil May Cry. The topics that I've recently heard that's on my mind was, why are his trials so hard and why is he poopy bad? But in actuality, like, it kind of, a character like him forces you to play manually. You have to play manually to make the most out of his kit, because his kit has to do with different combos. Like, you do his combo 1 and you turn into the demon, he doesn't have anything after that. He doesn't have any more it kills your whole combo.
Yeah, but
So-
the other thing that here's the problem that I have to like say is that it's not even him that's the problem. It's when you're facing an enemy team, because like how you're saying that his combo stops when he goes in demon mode. Like realistically, like if I'm facing you and my Dawson, if I get my one combo, I'm nuking your whole team.
Oh, big facts. Like his resiliency to damage is something to be desired. Like that's probably the first thing you're gonna notice in the trials, and why people are having such a hard time is because when you're even trying to attempt to use his kit, he flash dies. You start the match and 14 or 15 seconds in, you're on damage control.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the units that are available to you in the trial mode, you're not getting Elena's, like the ones that have Elena, Beast Zangief, and like Abel, and some of the other. I believe one of them had Abel, or one of them. I honestly forget. I should have took more documentation on it or watched Hayes' video a little bit more closely. But Dante needs some kind of protection in order for him to do something, and the super is where that comes into play, because he's freezing the whole team, and then but the you lose you can't do his combo 1 right after, so like it really doesn't make sense now that I say it out loud.
Yeah, that's the issue.
If you are able to protect him, he can still, the flash freeze can still be good, and you can do like F Blanca's combo 1 or Elena's combo 1 or Dhalsim's combo 1 to buff Elena 2, and then you get another defense buff there, something like that. There's probably somebody who has the correct units and the right theory.
It's really
but
hard
it's a
because
lot
it
of
shoehorns
workaround.
you. It shoehorns you. That's the thing is like
Yeah.
how you're saying it. If you need that specific of a team for Dante, I think that's an issue, because like what I love about, like, for example, how Chipon mentioned Fashion Blanca, you can do so much with Fashion Blanca. You don't have to do a fire team.
And he fits on his own.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't need protecting or anything like that, because
Exactly.
he's already an agility tank. Yeah, I get it.
The other thing is as well with Fashion Blanca, there's so much diversity. Like I very rarely have synergy in my team with Blanca. It's Bison, who's legendary. Blanca, Bison's master. No, Inferno. I keep mixing these names up. But Bison's Inferno. Fashion Blanca's legendary. Elena's Thunder. And then my 4th slot is, someone like Dhalsim or Poison, whoever's got a good combo 3. And you don't even need the link up. You don't need the extra bonus 10%, 15% attack or whatever, because he just deals so much damage. And you add someone like Fei Long on the top to increase that flame damage.
Nope.
You're just laughing through most of the auto stuff that you have to go through. Another thing I wanted to point out, I think I overheard you guys saying the trials were difficult or something, but I think one of the issues is there's a lot of free-to-play people who don't have enough diversity on the units that they're using. So,
you mean just general experience?
Yeah, like so that they might not have unlocked all the faction towers, or even if they have, they're just going through with the basic setup, or they don't know how the assist slots work and things like that.
The information's not it's not a secret. You're not prohibited from learning what the units do. And I'm gonna be a jerk and say it's not unreasonable to ask somebody to read what the characters do before they try something.
The greatest statement, please read.
That trial was easier than every single, like the Kami trial, the Akuma, every single. This was the easiest one, funnily enough to me, because Dante has AOE, and I flew through this first trial in every single fight. But it's because I knew, like, how many people
knew what the characters do.
Can I ask how many of you used Charming Dudley when you saw him in the lineup?
Yeah, he comes out and he does that.
He comes out with his super.
Listen, I've been nuked by Charming Dudley and regular Dudley way too many times. I put respect on that man's name, because once I see him throw that flower, I'm like, oh shit, someone's gonna die.
Siphon had a good point. There's definitely a skill gap when it comes to players who have more experience with units, but I feel like there's a lot of tools for new players to learn. We have the gallery, there's draft mode, there's the trial modes.
The way that those trials
Shadowloo
work,
City.
they're there to show off the new character. So
Yeah.
you field the new character, and then if the lineup that's available to you has OP units, you pick the OP units, right? And if they don't, like just pick triple thunder, triple fire, or triple wind. They always allow one of them to be available, and you throw the units on the lineup, and then as long as they have combos 1 through 3, like it always wins. I've never lost like that.
I agree. That has been the norm lately, but I was having difficulty with Dante's one. Maybe it's a skill diff for me, but I felt
On
like Dante's
auto.
trials.
You don't even
Yeah,
have
on
to do
auto.
anything.
Yeah, on auto, you still have to. The other trials you could do on auto with the same formula that you provided. I think I did all of Trendy Cammy's trials with no super. Like I just put her at tag. That's how trivial it was.
Yeah, that
But,
one was I think was like the easiest one, to be honest. Like,
Yeah,
I slept through it
yeah.
and
I
still
don't think
beat it.
it lets you put the derp unit, like the one you're trialing. It doesn't let you put it in
Yeah.
the tag.
Yeah, no, you
Well,
can't. It has to stay
certainly
in the
felt
board.
that way because I didn't use her super at all. I just used the other units. I'm speaking from memory, but Trendy Cammy, I don't really know what she does because of that trial. But I've since learned what she does. But at the time I didn't know.
The
I
other
feel
thing-
like
go ahead.
no. Well, I mean, I feel like the fact that units are locked at a position when they're placed on your board might be like the strongest weak point of this game. Like it's like I play so heavily in favor of it and so heavily against it. It's always leaning towards using it to your advantage in terms of your opponent, and then towards me, I'm like, damn, I really hoped I could put this unit in the back, but instead he kills himself. You know, my Fashion Blanca sits right behind my
Yeah.
Bison and dies instantly.
Yeah,
For
I'm on the
sure.
same boat with you because the amount of times I want to switch units around, especially if I know I'm facing a Viper team, I don't want my Dawson in the back. You know what? I'll sacrifice my Fashion
They just
Blanca.
get one shot.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes the game more interesting, though, is that you have to account for the fact that you can't swap them around. And if you're facing a Viper team, you have to swap your team around and use different units.
Yeah,
and
well,
that
that's the other thing that I did want to add on to that, because like you do have a good point about swapping teams, and one thing that I noticed is that once a player, generally, I'm not speaking for everyone, but once a player finds their 4 units, they don't look outside of that. It's just like
Facts.
they're like, I got these 4. I don't care about anyone else. And then it was just like, no, there's like 40 units in the game, my guy. You're doing something wrong.
Well, let's. I mean, you're only really gonna learn. You're only really gonna learn when you lose. Like the type of game that this is it rewards players for consistency, but also like it doesn't challenge the player to learn other things if they keep winning.
That's true.
I was
I mean-
stuck on a level for over a day, and you know what I did? I spent $10, and then I was
What
able to
bought?
destroy. I bought the grant that gives you the breakstones, and I
Oh,
went
yeah,
from
that's
level
great.
239 all the way to 280, and I was like,
Oof.
you know what? Fuck this shit. And I not only did I destroy the one level that I was stuck on, I put it on auto, and it killed the whole next 2 chapters.
Oh yeah, that's a big jump. I felt that jump when I did SS Bison jump was a big jump, and that was about it. I did the Fight Soul 20. That was a big jump.
Yeah,
I
now
think-
I'm on chapter 31.
Bison's plus 30 might be the most broken thing in the game. Just
I'm
because of the
trying
true
to get
damage.
there so fast because someone else told me that too. They were
Yeah, I mean, I'm like a bit of a whale, as in I have 23 SSs at like a month playing, and I'm level 324.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I have my main units that I'm upgrading, and I'm disregarding any other SSS. Like you guys said, I have my main team, and I'll swap Elena and Street Poison around. But the rest, I use Beast Zangief, I use Fashion Blanca, and I use Bison. And until they bring out a character that's actually worth using, in my opinion, I just won't swap them around, because I wailed on Trendy Cammy and I got completely destroyed in divs. I spent 400 divs for a single copy. but that's a different story. I just feel like this game is pretty linear with the ways you can play, because sure, I could swap out my Blanca for a gal or something, but in the end of the day, it'll still be the same battles.
Well, it's apparent that there are minor balancing details everywhere and major balancing issues in some places that where the whales are at. It's hard to expect a lot from a
What I
game that's a month old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What I think is the meta has set, it's almost starting to set in stone, but what I think is going to change that meta is that now people are getting to chapter 30 and 32 where they need multiple teams. So
I mean, you get a Viper team, a Guile team, and a Fashion Blanca team. And then you just do Elena or Street Poison support. And you always have Bison and you always have Beastkeef.
well, now here's the
That's it.
question. I'm not up there. And every time I mention, oh, I have Elena and this and I don't use beef, I get reamed and they're like, oh, you're gonna die instantly, blah 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 at these high stages. How do you respond to that with, like, when you're like, oh, just have a Viper, Guile, this, that, and third, when supposedly these stages are like one-shot nukes and don't allow you to breathe?
Yeah,
I'm not
every
there,
single
so I don't
one of the
experience
lineups
it.
needs a Beastkeef. So, like, let's say that you go to challenge a stage right now, and you look at your unit's power level and your opponent's power level at the top of the screen, right? Like, I have coasted through every single level that is, my team has a certain amount of power and my opponent has twice as much power. And then whenever it's 3 times as much power, like, it becomes difficult.
Mhm.
And then now I'm at 4 times or 5 times my power, and every interrupt has to be perfect, and I have to get 4 or 5 interrupts, and then even then, you might not have enough DPS. Like, they're just too tanky. If the opposing team
You
has a
run out of
Honda,
time.
yeah, you'll just run out of time. If there's a Honda, like, you're like, oh, I mean, maybe I'll try again tomorrow. You know, like.
That's curious. Do we how much do we know about story challenges? I know you can look at the fighting soul of opponent. I guess you can look if they had cars as well. So I mean
Wait, can you?
well, if you look at their icon, you know, like
Yeah.
how you'll get a star or a 2-star
Oh,
on
yeah,
the
yeah,
character
yeah,
frame,
yeah.
or if you look at the faction symbol, it'll tell you what your opponent's fighting soul is at.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just feel like there was a balancing issue. Like the Dante unit is adding on to that list of things of the actual mechanics, and we were talking about how characters break the rules. Bison breaks the rules, Monster Hunter Ken breaks the rules, and Beast Zangief breaks the rules. And Beast Zangief is free to play. I mean, and Bison is free to play with proper planning, or if somebody gives you the right advice at the right time. I would say F Blanca definitely breaks the rules for being a free character as well.
A damage
Getting an SS character like that.
a DPS
I
as a
think-
tank.
The
Yeah.
issue with this is just the fact that these OP units were introduced basically at the start of the game. And now when they're
Yeah.
introducing units like Vega, especially Vega, actually, like, I don't think anyone who actually wailed for Vega is actually using him in any place. Like, there is no point in using him in guild bosses, in PvE, in PvP.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like, and the same is probably going to be said about Dante. Kemi has one use, and that's the current guild boss. And for the rest, I'm using her in this current guild boss from Dante's collab, and she actually does pretty well there.
Well,
But besides that, I just feel like the units that are broken have been introduced too early. And unless they introduce a Bison killer or whatever, there just won't be any shift in the meta.
in response
Well,
to that, someone did mention this, and I know time and time again we're not supposed to look at other regions. I understand, but I have to make this known. It seems like besides the assets, just the baseline of the player of the unit is also being transferred over. So what I mean by that is they're taking almost everything from the kit in China and changing probably very minute things. And the issue with that is our rules in country and A plus are nowhere near the same rules as in China. That's why Monster Hunter Ken is way more busted in our region versus China. That's why Fashion Blanca and all these other units are way more busted in our region, because how Zangief said, they're breaking our rules because we have a different ideology, I guess, in how we're handling this game. So I guess that's because they're trying to make each region different, and they don't want it to just be a copy and paste immediately. But because of that, they're not balancing the units based off of our rules. So like Beast Zangief is trash in other regions. He does not do what he does here. That's why it's so unique to our place, because it's like Bison, immortal, not like that anywhere else. Beast Zangief can stun and interrupt, not like that anywhere else. Apparently Elena is a goddess compared to everything, but yet over here she's useless because of how the speed is, how the damage scales, and how far people are with Beast Zangief.
I think their content is different too, right? The types of activities that they do are different.
I don't know. I'm not too sure. From my understanding, like the events and stuff like that are similar.
Well, it's a bad observation, since we've been trying to be diligent on not comparing the two.
That's why I put that like context. It's like it's hard because I don't want to compare it. But the one thing is that we do have to acknowledge that because of how different our stuff is, we're getting a different flavor of these units compared to everywhere else.
Our culture and ecosystem is inherently different too. But what I don't think anybody anticipated how the players were going to react to the shop, or what the ceiling that we took it to. Because I really feel like we're raising the bar faster than they can set it.
I think that's a perfect way to say it, because like that game has been out for over 2 years, right? And the majority, remember how Dino talked about the majority of the player base. Remember he said majority of the player base is coasting around chapters 6 and 10. Like they're not the derps that we are, like abusing Beast Zangief and climbing through chapters we shouldn't be in.
Yeah.
And the game has been out for over 2 years, and I'll tell you something: the majority of the player base is stuck around chapter 30.
And we're already there within the first 2 months.
And we're already there where these people are 2 years from now.
Yeah.
So we've accelerated our derp ass timeline for no reason. You know that right now you can only play up to chapter 40, and then when people beat chapter 40, they release chapter 40 through 60, and the whales in China are like stuck on chapter 45. So these are like 15 whole chapters that they just can't even touch. Like they'll never even consider beating it.
Tryhards, that's what it is. It's like gotta acknowledge that the tryhards.
No, it's the wallet. They didn't anticipate the wallet to come out.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I mean that's kind of true, I guess, because they did say that the game has exceeded by like at least 10 times. So these whales are slapping Crunchyroll with these wallets, and they're like, we want more.
But I don't think that the spending level is like that in China. Like it's not an addiction. I mean, I don't want to say that it's an addiction or not an addiction. The other day when I saw this guy's video on YouTube, he said he made a video talking about getting Dante spending the least amount of money. I forgot which YouTuber it is, but dude, it was like I was watching somebody with a gambling addiction in front of me. I was having a problem watching the video.
Yeah, it is kind of. I did put a video on YouTube talking about that. This was before Dante and them pulling. It's just that that was a trend that I noticed, that besides the people calling this game predatory in terms of monetization, is the other side of it is that, like, fear of missing out, a mental illness of addictions, and just.
Is it your video that has the banner at the top? Like a rolling text banner saying like, yeah. So I saw it, right, and it reminded me of like when you go to a gas station and there's like an ad outside that says like cigarettes kill, and then inside they sell cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, I'm watching the banner scroll on the top of the screen, and I'm like, it's making me want to buy more. Like,
No, the banner literally says, "Don't spend, my guy."
yeah, the banner is telling me not to buy, but I want to buy more
Oh my
now that I see the
God.
banner.
No,
It's like, I
it's
only want to do it
horrible.
because he told me I couldn't.
I'm literally trying to tell people don't do it, but like that's
Just
the thing
don't say
is,
anything. Just don't address it. It's like the elephant in the room. Just like let it dance around you while you enjoy your free to play. And I
but
threw
you
$10
gotta
and I
address
felt
it
bad
though.
about it.
You gotta address it though. That's the thing is because like it and there's obviously different levels of it. You know, like I don't want to put a general blanket over anyone that is facing addiction, that's fighting this stuff, or anything like that, or whatever. You're free to spend how you want to spend. Just understand that like don't hinder yourself, don't hinder your life, and sometimes people do need to hear these things because they feel alone. They feel that they're facing this by themselves. So that's why I felt like it was important to make note because you know, especially how some people push, oh, this unit is better than others, and then you know, like, there's a member in the server that's like, that he's really testing out Flame Chung Li, and every time he comes out with evidence, he's like, I'm like, man, I want it, but no, just stop it. But like, it's there that naggingness of you must have is a constant for a lot of people, and it's scary.
I mean, I can tell you right now, as someone who also tested out Flame Chun-Li pretty thoroughly, I have yet to find a use for her that isn't filled by other units who do it better.
Well,
Like-
according to I can't speak on his evidence because I don't know 100%. But what he's saying that from what I'm noticing, what he's saying is that primarily in terms of fire, like players, fire mains and bosses, she seems to accelerate Fashion Blanca primarily and Dalsum higher than units like Akuma and Trendy Kami and stuff like that.
The issue with Flame Chun and F Blanca is they have the same combo
Yeah.
usage.
Yeah, so
And
you have to manual.
yeah, you'll have to manual. But the thing about this is that not using Flame Chun and just straight up using your Fashion Blanca and just having a Street Poison in there does more damage. And that is where the issue is. If Flame Chun was just a fire unit and you could use her in Flame Tower, she would be the most broken unit in the game because of that reason. But in her current form, where she's just a legendary unit that you can't really use anywhere else, she just doesn't live up to any expectation that she should have.
She is limited.
As somebody who gives, yeah.
Yeah, she is definitely limited.
We should have units with skills 1, 2, and 3, and then go into a fight and be able to select which combos we want to apply to the character.
You asking for a lot now. That's gonna change the
Well,
whole
I'm saying
dynamic.
like maybe a better character would be like a toolkit character who doesn't have a super.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. Ooh,
Okay,
that's
so he doesn't have a
interesting.
super and he has a skill 1, 2, and a 3.
Or maybe just not a passive.
Nah, dude, the passives are goated. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
no, I
We're gonna take away a passive?
I'd rather have a passive than no combos at all.
Oh, so you mean Mr. fucking MHK? Mr. MHK, I mean, sorry. My bad.
Listen, I'm a Dawson main, so
Nah, I mean, I guess.
the disdain of
I just-
Dawson.
That team is amazing, man.
Dalsim is amazing in Flame Tower, I'm not gonna lie. I have him at 6 out of 6 vehicles and he destroys.
You hit Fashion Blanca and then douse him. Holy shit, you just burned through an entire team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly using my Dalsim as an assist for my Blanca, I'm not gonna lie.
Whoa, that hurts my feelings, man.
Well, like,
No,
like
but
look,
I'm not-
he
I
will
get it,
still
I
use
get
his
it.
flame carpets, you know? He will still do something.
I get it.
No,
Like,
but
that's,
see,
whenever
switch
someone
out
talks about
dousing.
Fashion Blanca, it kills me because like I get the power of Fashion Blanca, and this is where my theory crafting anti-meta mind goes into play. Because like I'm pretty sure no one that plays Dawson uses his super, and then I'm also pretty sure that like most people don't have him in Fighting Spirit 30, because Dawson he becomes Daddy Dawson at Fighting Spirit 30. Like hands down, his C3 changes drastically.
I'm actually yet to read his FS30 to be honest.
Yeah, it changes. One, it adds a dope animation of like a flame explosion, but the stackings of burn, it's just next level. Like normally before Fighting Spirit 30, I would see like anywhere from like 4 to 6 burn on a combo, depending on if I'm using Fashion Blanca, then maybe it'll go up to like 8 burn. But like with Fighting Spirit 30, I'm easily hitting anywhere from like 12 to 15 stacks of burn on Dawson.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, like,
Turtle, when you fight a stage, do you ever like just okay? Let's say your Dawson died. Like, do you still try or do you just reset?
No, I still try. That's why that's why I like the double DPS teams. Realistically, I've seen Elena be the last person in. She won me matches.
Okay, wait. So let me ask you this: when your team is already missing a piece, do you have enough for a combo?
Yes.
Okay, because like I struggle sometimes. Like a piece of my team dies, and I no longer have a C2. So now I can no longer form a combo because one piece of my team died. So it's instant restart. I can never try to derp it out.
I guess for me, my team is Bison, Fashion Blanca, Dalsum, Elena. And Elena has a C1 and a C2. So as long as she's alive, the rest of my combos go, because like let's say I lose Dalsum, I have Fashion Blanca and I could either interchange between Fashion Blanca and Bison, and Elena keeps my combo going. So I could do Bison, Elena, Fashion Blanca, Bison without skipping a beat if my Dalsum dies. Or I could do Fashion Blanca, Elena, Fashion Blanca, Dalsum, Bison. So like I've never really, the only time I lose my combo is somehow Viper nukes my Elena when Elena decides to heal. That's the only time where I'm like, well, I'm now officially screwed.
All right, I gotta go. Love you.
Bye.
I'm gonna go watch a
I think
baseball
everyone
game.
just heard that scream.
Yeah, I'm going to a baseball game. Peace.
But
You want to hear a hot take? Like a really, really hot take?
oh god.
Like, okay, so I'm only completing stages and towers to fulfill dailies once, and then I move on. Like I'm not sitting there grinding stages like I should be.
Neither am I.
Like I'm not even at that point where I'm struggling anymore, because I know when and where I'm gonna struggle. So I just kind of stop.
And to be honest, I don't think that's a hot take, because like me and Ice Snipe talk about this all the time. We're auto bros for life. I rarely manual. Like realistically, like I'm lazy. I get it. I'm not saying manual dumb. I'm not saying that's the way to go if you want to push. But I'm too lazy for that. I just want to set my combo and just watch Dawson burn everybody while I'm watching, One Piece on the side, and I'm chilling.
I'm a big chill. I'm a big chill kind of guy. Like I don't really push for levels unless, like, maybe I should really pursue and try to get the levels through. But knowing what I know about the game, and as a player, and recognizing what the kind of hurdles other players are experiencing where they're at, it doesn't really motivate me. So it's a weird thing. Like personally as a gamer, like you aspire to get to a certain goal, or try to reach a milestone. But for the type of player that I am, and my experience with the game so far, it's like, yeah, I'll do a few, like 1 or 2 stages if I feel like it, but I'm more focused on like PvE content that's not chapter stories. Like I want to see, like the Dante event is great for somebody like me, because I can sit there with my units and I want to be pressured into completing things and leveling up. I just don't get that kind of pressure from PvP or story chapters, or even the tower, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree because like for me, when everyone was like, "Oh, chapter 32, I've been stuck here for forever and whatever." Right now I'm on chapter 2940, and I'm dreading that point because I don't want to be like, everyone's like 10 times the power and they push so hard and then they're like, I'm stuck for a month. Like the most I've ever been stuck on a stage is probably like 3 days, and it's less stressful for me.
It's a weird duality. It's like it's just a weird situation to be put in as a gamer, and the way that this game works in general. It's just strange.
It's also different because, like, for example, how Flake said, he wailed and stuff like that, and if people see the game differently in terms of where they are. Like, Flake, may I ask where are you in the story?
I'm chilling at 36-24 where the double team starts, but I can beat it theoretically, but the time it'll take on manual, because the units are still 80 levels ahead on me,
It's insane.
it's just so much that like I've been trying for like 30 minutes every day. Every time I gain like a few levels.
That's crazy to
And
me.
by the way, I'm stuck on breakstones again. So always keep on buying breakstones. That's very important. Every level for me costs 25k and I'm at 0 at the moment. Fighting spirits is a joke. The further you progress, like it'll be there for free to play, I'll say you'll be stuck on fighting spirit for like 2 months. That'll be your halt, and then you'll go back to breakstones. And in those 2 months, the most people will be like, yeah, okay, I have enough breakstones, I don't have to buy it. But then you won't have any reserves, and then you'll have to go back to buying it, and you'll be stuck for way longer at a certain level. And I'm seeing Tix say that free-to-play won't have that issue. I feel like they will, though, because at a certain point, breakstones are way harder to get than XP.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm not breakstones just seeming kind of like wonky, but I do agree on the fighting spirit thing because like I only have one unit at fighting spirit 30. I did make a mistake and I spread some of my stuff because I was trying to get assists and stuff like that. But like, man, it is not easy getting those elemental stones. Getting that fire elemental stone, I cried. Every time I saw a box, I prayed to Lord Jesus. I was like, thank you for blessing me with the fire breakstone. Because them suckers are hard to come by.
Only
I usually just get
I've been getting
rainbow
fire
stem.
only.
What happened?
What, sorry?
No, go ahead. What were you saying?
I've only been getting firestones, by the way. Only. And
I'm now
that's the
working
only
on
faction
Inferno.
I don't. I swear, I want light stones, the master stones, sorry, I want the legendary stones and I want the infernal stones. And I'm just not getting any. And I'm at tower 450 plus. So I have a 50% chance of those turning into chests. I've never seen a chest in my life from campaign.
Yeah, I haven't seen one either.
So I feel like that's also just bugged.
Is it supposed?
But,
Are you supposed to get a chest or the actual frag itself?
So the fragment is normal. That is something you will always get. But when you complete level 120 in every factional tower and tower 400, you will get an upgrade in your dojo that gets you a chance, and I think it's 25% at level 1 of those stones turning into chests. And at 450, it's a 50% chance. And I'm yet to see a single chest, and I've been at tower 450 for the past 2 weeks or something. Now I just can't progress in tower anymore because I need more power to actually complete the fights. Like it just blocks me from even trying. It just says, yeah, you need more power.
I've seen screenshots of that. I've actually seen it where they're like, you must get stronger or something like that. I was just like, yeah. Wow.
I'm at 11.5 million power and I need 12 million to progress. And that's only for 5 waves, by the way.
Because you're gonna get hit another wall to the next one, right?
Yeah. It's right now it's 1 million every 5 waves that it goes up. But I've seen that certain waves are gate capped at like 70 million power. And like even looking at like the biggest whales, their main lineup at level 430 is 100 million. So just imagine how far you'll have to get as a free to play to even like try those waves. And I feel like that's just a bad design.
I am curious to see because, like, as we said, we're we're almost at the 2-year mark of content in 2 months already. So I'm actually curious to see like how they're going to handle the units in the future in terms of power and scaling, and if the player base has accelerated or pushed their plans in any way, shape, or form. And what I mean by that is that they've stated multiple times that they hope this game should last for years, and that they do have plans and a roadmap of some type for X amount of time. But because of how fast we're going, does that accelerate their roadmap?
Well,
I mean, it
let me
should.
let me propose this just for the sake of discussion. I'm sorry if I cut you off. If the only way that they could create difficulty, because they're gonna have to create difficulty in different ways now. And a lot of players have already had created established teams and have units already leveled up. They're gonna have to do something with B rank units, and they're gonna have to do something with limiting
I
a
don't
player's.
think so.
No, well, they're gonna have to limit a player's ability to set units in order to arbitrarily create difficulty. Like you were saying earlier, everybody has the 4 units that they have, right? But the adverse effect of that is like people want to use their strong units and people want to complete content, but there's a ceiling, right? There's a ceiling for that, and that's the dojo. So they're gonna have to figure out a new way to force players.
The dojo and story mode. I agree with what you're saying though. The dojo and story mode, because like everyone's set on their 4 units right now, but like how where Flake's at with chapter 36 or whatever, you're going to eventually get to multiple teams. That's the other thing is that people are not there. There's again, everyone plays different. A majority of players don't prep, plan, and execute on these things. I notice a lot of players they're like, oh, do pulls, spend gems, buy whatever, and then they're like, I've seen many players come into the server and they're like, I feel like I have to re-roll because I messed up.
No, yeah, that's false in my opinion. Like you don't really get anywhere in the game until you get to chapter 15 or like even 20.
I think,
in my opinion,
they changed something that is actually really good for the double, triple, quadruple teams that you need, and that is you can swap your gear around while in the fighter interface. And how that works is you beat team 1, and then you can set up your second team. And that second team, you can change the gear around. So you can put your max gear, and like as a free to play, you probably won't even have the max gear, especially not for your second team. And you can actually go to there, unequip them, and equip it on your second team. And that is a major game change.
Wait, you can do that during the battle?
Nobody's talking about. You can. So basically, how a second team works, and I'm currently fighting the second battle because I've completed the first one. I'll just stream it in Discord.
You can do that? I am learning so much right now.
This is my second team with Gal and Beast and Give and stuff, because the first one I can just do on auto, and if I give it enough tries, I beat it with enough damage with my blank and Bison setup.
My man got a T-Hawk on his team. That's a first, my guy. Jackie just mentioned that.
Look at that! What? Well. What do we have here? A T-Hawk.
So this is my first team, right? I completed that wave, and now on my second team, what I can do is I can click Guile, go to fighter, just go back, and I'll just go to my Bison or whatever, or who do I use as well? I use my F Blanca, and I can just go here, quick remove, and if I'm using an agility fighter, I can just go to that fighter. I don't know if I'm using any. But for the sake of it, I'll just say I'm using Dudley. I can just quick equip it here, go back, and just put him on my lineup.
I didn't
and
know
there
you
he
could do
is
that.
with max gear. It is new with this update.
I wish they added presets, more presets. Wait, can you do that? No, you can't. Not with gear. I wish
You
gear.
you can make more presets. Yeah, I have 3 presets currently set. So you can make like infinite.
Yeah.
This is just my presets for my fighter thingy.
But it only works for the units and the EX move.
Yeah,
I wish
it doesn't work for gear.
everything. Yeah, that would have been amazing. That'd just be an instant quick swap.
I mean, that would give issues though, because if you set those up with presets in like the arena, what's it called? Final Showdown. You set up your triple team just via your presets. Then what unit gets what gear? Because those three teams ideally have max gear, but you only have so many gear pieces.
Yeah, that's true.
I've been finding that also. I've been getting more triple S units and getting more gear and having to level up the gear, and I've been hitting that hurdle pretty early, I feel.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Yeah, a lot of people are pushing too hard, and not they're complaining about the walls, but not realizing that like they put
The walls
wall
are
in-
great.
Like the walls are pretty massive. Some of them are pretty big, and I do feel like some of these matches they're actively hard on purpose. Like there's no reason why like a 1919 should be harder than 1940. Like and
Yeah,
I'm stuck on 1919 and I'm manual it and I'll be on it for like 2-3 days. I beat it and then I can auto the rest of the chapters and I'm just like, why? I don't understand this.
I had those same thoughts.
I would propose this question, like the hurdles. So we have players who are above chapter 35. We have players below chapter 15. And then I'm at chapter 23 myself personally. I don't expect myself passing chapter 23 for at least another week or so. But the question I wanted to propose is, when you have characters like B. Zangief, or you have these hurdles that are being thrown at us, or like we were being really critical about the balancing and what players are able to do within a month, but nobody there who's actually outright finished the game. You know, like that
I
would
know a few people.
Yeah, there's actually a good amount of people though.
Yeah, I mean, especially in NA, I think because I was part of jury duty. I don't know if you know the guild. If you do, then nice. There's a few whales in there.
You gotta watch my trash talk video.
They're like level 435, 435 heroes, which is the cap of this game currently with the amount of SSSs you can get, and they have completed everything. And I have no idea how. Like I'm actually just mind blown, but it's so nuts how the game is finished for them and they spent all that money and now they just have an application on their phone they can't do anything on. Like I'm basically at that point as well, because to be honest, I don't really care for progressing anymore in campaign. I'm tower locked. So the only thing I'm doing when there's no event is just logging in, doing my dailies for 10 minutes, and then I'm just off for the day.
Yeah, I remember one time Painblade said I spent money to skip content and basically play the game less. And that blew my mind. I was just like, I then why play? But again, there was the enjoyment of being at the top and having the quote unquote easy mode, I guess.
Well, the dopamine you get from being rank 1 on your server, and I am rank 1 on my server together with the other whale. Like in the leaderboards, I'm there on all of them besides SSS units in lightning. There is just
it's a different mindset.
You get. Yeah,
they're in a different world.
Different mindset.
Yeah, they're in a different world, because that's the other thing that from my understanding, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the entirety of the Baldies is like past chapter 35 and up.
Oh yeah, no, most of them are at 40 or 41.
Yeah, so they're up there. They're the ones that are like pushing that banner, that barrier, and telling Crunchyroll like, hey, we need more stages.
I mean, yeah, NA is just insane. I'm still sad though that we can't play with NA people, because most of my friends, the reason I joined this game was because one of my friends from like a gacha game I used to play back in the day asked me to play this game. And then we found out like, okay, it's region locked. You can't play with your friends.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here like, okay, I'll just play on a random EU server with people that I've never met. And then sure, I made some friends along the way, and I'm in a decent guild now. But the fact that guilds are 25 server locked, and you can't you can't join a guild with your friends if you're joining later, is something dumb to me.
Yeah, I hated it since day one. Realistically, I hated it. I lost. I was in the server day one, and we basically everyone made their guilds like as soon as the guild recruitment thing opened up. I think it was like a week or two before the game launched, and I had like half EU, half NA, and we're like, woo, we're gonna kick the butt, we're gonna take over the world. And then when we started looking for EU friends, I was like, all right, well, half the guild is gone. Cool, I guess.
Well, I was drafting something up in game discussion, and you know, if you've noticed my game discussions in the past or game feedback is like my game feedback is pretty long-winded, but you know it's to convey a message, but also support my claims or support my point. That's why my game feedbacks are so long. But I was drafting one last night, and if I know Turtle answered the question earlier about merging the servers, and is there any examples of games who just outright have an entirely global player base with I know Bungie servers, but it goes into a whole different game dev publisher server dynamic that I'm not privy of, but I know there's at least one example where everybody can play with everybody.
King of Fighters.
I've played Idle Heroes with my friends.
Yeah.
And that game was an AEU. It basically was global besides a singular server that was on Taiwan, I think. And that was also the complete same game, but they had the updates 1 week earlier. So we like had spoilers and stuff from there. But once a server, like, you know, our servers here are like, I think we're at 450 or something. Once server 600 was made, I think they started merging servers 1 through 10, then 11 through 20, and then making it server 1, 2, 3
I hope
again. So that, I mean, I'm waiting on that update.
I really hope so, because like realistically, that 1 to 25 server lock thing and the region lock thing is crazy, because the other game I'll throw out was King of Fighters UMOL 98 or whatever. That was global, and it had I was able to play with EU people, and they eventually merged servers too. It's just a thing that games do.
It's detrimental. It's detrimental to the overall health of the community to have these arbitrary blocks. It's not promoting community discussions or community what is the word, camaraderie, I would say, I guess. But like, let's put it this way: when you're saying, okay, we're gonna have a guild event and like teamwork matters, why would you limit the amount of teamwork that you could achieve? You know.
Yeah,
I would understand that.
That was my biggest point in the.
I would understand that if it wasn't from the get-go, because when I started on S318, I could actually join the server 1 guild that we had.
Yeah, that's how it was at launch.
After that, then they changed it around, and then our guild just died out because we only had 20 active players out of the 55 we could have.
Yeah,
and then it was just like, I guess we'll just join random guilds from our servers.
So
and then
after
see
the
from
server
there.
lock, I lost anywhere from like 5 to 10, and I've been like slowly filling it up, and I'm not. It's been, I would say, like almost a full month since I've gotten a new player in my guild. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible.
I just took my friends from my server and we just joined a random guild that was pretty full and like decently strong from our server group. But it still just sucks that like I had to tell my friends that I made during the start of this game, like, sorry, I'm leaving the guild. It's just not working out because it's altering everyone's progress to like be stuck in a guild with each other. Mm-hmm. Even calling it being stuck in a guild with each other is already just a bit toxic. But it is basically what it is. Like, you're hurting your progress towards trial. You're hurting the possible rewards you can reap with the guild rewards at the end of the season from like guild bosses and stuff. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, I've tested this out. we got 10k gems because I was, I think, third in HWA. We didn't get the total 10k gems. It's still divided in the amount of people you can have in your guild, even if it's not full.
Wait, really?
Yeah. So the 10k gems you get aren't actually 10k gems because those 10k gems are already set to be divided in the 55 slots we had. And those 55 slots were not full. So we ideally basically had 2,000 gems earned out of the total 10,000 gems I gave my guild.
Oh wow, because then no one else is getting the other ones. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we tested it out. And like even then, some people got 74 gems. Like, okay, nice. That's less than your daily missions. Like those 74 gems, that's like one guild fight refresh or whatever.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's money. It's a money issue. Obviously, servers cost money and it ain't cheap and stuff like that. Because like, why else would it be on launch? You can access everyone, you can add everyone, but then after I think it was like a month or so, they were like, "Hey, we're fixing guilds." That's the other thing that bothers me. They're like, "We're fixing it." There was nothing broken about it. So what are you fixing?
But then on the other hand, like the counter argument to that is why doesn't every other gacha game have that issue of like servers being too expensive? We cannot do what we were meant to do.
I don't know, man. I don't
cannot
speak
sustain
on
this.
the money business aspects. I'm not part of that side, so I have no clue. I'm
There's a
just
lot
making an
of-
assumption because, like, if you take it, obviously from we're outside looking in. So on the
Mhm.
outside, if you had a working server from the get, and then you say we're gonna quote unquote fix it, which was never broken, and then you limit it to 25, and then not change anything, and especially after people are telling you, hey, this may not be the greatest idea. It has to be something where it's either business, license, or financial. That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, it's just there's
I mean-
something we don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, if it was server related, I think I paid for this game for the next 3 months on my own. I'm gonna be real with you.
I wonder how expensive a server is. I'm legitimately curious.
It is pretty cheap. It is pretty cheap.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in that, so I'm not gonna speak on it. But that's definitely.
It is what I study in my uni, and one of my projects was to set up a really basic gacha game. But I can tell you right now that running 500 servers per region, which is about 1,500, it would be way less than the amount of money I spent on this game.
Interesting.
And sure, you have to pay out loan fees to people, whatever. But yeah, you know that there's people who spend over 25k on this game already.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, but
like, if we
That's
take
25,000.
yeah, if we take what they earn within the first year, I don't know. Maybe they could take a portion of that and change it to something else. I don't know. I don't know how these businesses work.
The
Like,
problem
what happens
the
with
problem with
finances
this-
and stuff.
the problem with discussing numbers is we don't know what it costs. You know what I mean? Like we can discuss what people have paid, and I'm not saying this like I'm not trying to justify what's happening. I just want to make a point that we don't know how much it costs, and we don't know exactly how much people have paid. So we can only speculate that it's enough, so to speak.
Yeah,
And-
it's
but
speculation.
I'll be the first one to say that there's a problem. Hey, sorry. I'll be the first one to say that there's definitely an issue with creating the guilds and trying to uphold the servers when there's inactive players or players leaving the game. If it's not constantly attended to, it creates a bad experience for players who need that interaction. Specifically guilds, or like my server doesn't have any, or I'm paraphrasing here. So like if you're a player and like you're on server 300 and nobody's on there, and you're like, okay, I don't have anybody in my battle group, I don't have anybody on my server, what am I supposed to do with group content? Am I just not allowed to play it? Why even bring it up if I'm not allowed to play it?
Yeah,
I mean,
do I
especially
make
now
the most of
when FAQ is releasing. By the way, important notice: you can claim those 8-hour chests every day for the next 7 days. It is not just ones that you can sign up.
Wait,
So
what
keep in
chest?
mind to always check. You know, in FAQ you can sign up.
Yeah.
You can just click it and sign up.
Yeah.
You get 5 8-hour resource chests rewarded.
Uh-huh.
It is not a one-time thing. It is a everyday thing.
I've been missing out.
Yeah.
Oh, god dang it.
No. It's just the second day, so don't worry.
okay.
You haven't missed anything.
Okay, I'm gonna connect it then. I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know either. It wasn't shared anywhere. I just found out by accidentally clicking on FAQ and getting the rewards.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess is that I don't know if it's their ideology, but the way they speak about, you know, players coming in and going and like the retentions and stuff like that, I'm not sure if they have an idea in terms of like how players actually play, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe the players that have these, I don't know how to put it. Maybe the tryhards are just too small to make an impact on the game. And I think it could be that the tryhards are the ones that are feeling it more versus other players who really don't care about guild effigy or whatever. They don't care about the life of a guild. So I guess
way,
it depends on where they're looking at and who they're looking at in terms of their main player base. Because like because I remember when they mentioned in terms of retention and the whole of the player base, when they were in terms of talking that the player base has like 100K members or whatever, they're the, like how we said before, they're the type of players that are only in chapter 5. They're only in chapter 10. That's like 10 minutes of playing a day or something. I don't know, because that seems so little and so low. So, you know, and the Discord is literally only like a 10% of the player base.
I mean, I'm glad that Discord exists because otherwise I wouldn't have anything to do in this game. Like now at least I can like log into my account if people need Nilop help and like read and stuff. And especially if people are bringing up stuff like Flame Chun or Viper and they're saying, yeah, she's really good. I'm logging in and testing them out to see if they're actually worth building or buying, especially Flame Chun if she was worth buying. Because I bought her, of course. Like, I mean, I'm trying to finish off the Pokédex, so I'll probably go for a Dante copy, even though I do not want a Dante copy.
Look, I wasted my tickets just because I needed that one Dante. Yes, the Pokédex grind is real, my brother. You ain't the only one. That's why when I'm looking, like I spoke to the Geef and everybody else, that's why I'm like, I'm also eyeballing Flame Chun-Li. I'm like, I don't want to do it, but I need it. God dang it. But yeah, like in terms of overall, getting back to on topic, I think it could be that the aim for this game could be less. It is not aimed towards the tryhard, because if we're gonna take what we have an example already, first example I'll throw out is legitimately one of the first whales that spent massive amount of money messaged on the server like, hey, I'm at the end, there's no more missions. They brought it to the developers, and the developers added more stages. So I think that is the first sign of like they legitimately was not expecting players to go ham.
Oh no, they for sure didn't. I mean, I wasn't expecting to spend the amount of money I did, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I found out something interesting, that how regions spend differently. Obviously it's regions are different. But like my brain turned off in the terms of like how people spend. So from my understanding, in Asian regions, they do have heavy spenders, but not in the amount of how we would have in North America or other regions. Like my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, someone who has the experience for this, there's a lot more high spenders in North America and other regions compared to Asia, where like we'll have 10 whales versus their one whale. But their one whale would probably spend the amount of like maybe 5 to 10 whales. I'm not sure if that's really the case.
Rhino says it's true.
That okay, awesome. Then yeah, so like that's it, that changes the dynamic of the game in its own right too, because of like how players play. You know, money talks. Money is very powerful,
Well,
especially
the
in terms of this
dynamic-
game.
The dynamic is
that's-
different for Chinese games and games in Asia because their rules are different. Their monetization rules in general are different.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any of that type of stuff. I'm just learning now that like
Yeah.
EU has to their EU rules are super strict on gambling and
I
posting.
mean, just look at
pity and
our game in general. Canadians pay a different price.
That's
EU,
true.
the pounds
No,
the
just-
euros play a different price. USD
Euros
pays
is
a different
way too
price.
expensive. That's all I'm gonna say. It is way too expensive. I'm
How
paying
much is
about
it in
$25 more.
$25
It's
more.
120 euro for one. It's 120 euro for a $100 pack.
Okay, how
And I'll
much
look
is
up the
your Flame
conversion now.
Chun-Li? How much is your Flame Chun-Li with full discount?
I have no clue to be honest. I think
How
it
much
was
is your Bison
30
pack? How much was your $100? For us, it was 100.
120.
120.
Wow.
Jesus.
So if
Yeah,
I
but
convert
dude-
120 euro to United States dollars,
the-
that is $131.
That's a lot. That's $31
Oh.
extra. Holy, that's a whole Chun-Li extra. Dang.
Yeah.
What is the are you counting for inflation too, like the US dollar to euro on conversion?
I just converted 120 euro to USD in the current state of the dollar and euro.
What was the USD amount?
131.26.
Oh, $131. Oh, US dollar. That's insane.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it's $30 more
insane.
expensive per pack.
That's insane.
And keep in
Yeah.
mind, I have bought about 90k points worth of VIP points,
You-
which is about $1,500, a bit less. But then convert that from them back, and then you're basically at $2,000.
Wow. That's some
Law
that's some
said
whale
that
like,
it's 1/3 extra. Yeah, I was about to say it's 25, but yeah, you're paying 1/3 extra amount just for
Yeah.
holy cow.
Welcome to EU Texas. It's great here.
Man, I was not aware of that. Like I know
Yeah,
everyone's saying like
change my US,
I got a sense of sarcasm there. Yeah, it's great
I see
here.
someone writing, change my store price to US dollar. You can get fined for that by the authorities, by the way. It is very illegal.
wait,
And if
really?
they
no
catch
no
you.
recommending illegal stuff.
Yeah,
in
we're
the
not
chat,
recommending illegal stuff, but man, that's kind of nuts.
please. Yeah,
Like,
I'm-
if you
I'm
can
not
do it
gonna
on the low
snitch
and
on
nobody will
nobody.
catch you, then good on you. But I don't want to take that risk because the fines are way worse.
Yeah.
Way worse.
At that point, you're not even dealing with the game's authority. You're dealing with
I'm
government.
dealing with the actual authorities.
Yeah,
man.
you're dealing with actual authority. That's scary. No, I'm okay. That's
So, yeah.
terrifying.
I just want to do a quick recap, because we're reaching about an hour, right?
Yeah, we're hour 13 right now.
Yeah, so we talked about Dante's balancing, and I think the consensus is that, at least from what I gather, is he's a manual play type character. He's not gonna just fit in a team like how Monster Hunter can, or Flame Blanca, or Bison will fit on any team.
Mhm.
Or he's a build around character with a manual play style. So, is he a good unit for everyone? Probably not. But
I
is
think-
he? The other part is he worth is he worth the investment? It really depends on who you are as a player. And
Let's put a rating on
the
Dante.
other question is,
Let's put a rating on
Yeah,
Dante.
we just
If
gotta pick-
Bison is 10, if Beast Zangief is 10.
Okay, let's not compare it to. Let's compare it to characters that fill the same role. I think that is more fair.
Very
Okay,
good
so
point. Yeah.
who could we compare him to?
Okay, so Dante is a DPS that
Balanced.
Dodges?
He's balanced. He's technically balanced.
okay, but like I'm just talking about his role in the game
Oh,
for your
okay.
team.
Yes.
He will do DPS.
Uh-huh.
He will do some CC, and he will kill himself like Ryu if he gets the chance with his C1, which is actually a thing that can happen.
Yes.
So I'm thinking of comparing it to Ryu,
Emryu?
just because of the DPS and the way that he sacrifices HP, and then also trying to compare him to Bizang, which is what people were thinking he would be. He would just be a replacement for Bizang.
That's true. Okay,
And
so
Bizang-
Bizang is a 10.
Bizang is a 10 for sure, and I would say Mad Ryu is about a 7.
Really? You rate him that
Also,
high?
Dante is in
Interesting.
between there.
Okay.
I've used him throughout the whole campaign up until stage 30, which was when I unlocked Fashion Blank after the 28 days playing. He was my main carry.
Okay. So Mad Ryu is a 7.
I'm good with that.
So then where's
good with that.
Dante? Where would you place Dante?
Do we consider his price in his score?
We have
We're
to.
trying
We
to
have to
satisfy
consider.
the
We have
question
to
is
consider it.
is he worth it?
Yeah, we have to
Okay,
consider
if-
it because the fact that he is a collab and he may not come back.
Okay,
We have to
then I
because
would
we don't know.
rate him a 4. I would rate him a 4.
A 4?
4 out of 10.
4 out of 10? Yeah, I could see it.
I would say
you-
as an existing player with existing tools already, I'm not prioritizing Dante. But if you're a new player and you need some A rank units, or you have tickets already,
And
and
still go for Akuma.
you go for Akuma. If you're a new
You
player.
for sure go for, if you're a new player especially, you go for Akuma. Akuma will stay unless you're going to whale and max him out. As a new
Yeah.
player, don't go for it. If you're a set player and you have units to spare and you want to fill out the Pokedex, it's fine.
It's a
But if you're new-
gimmicky. If you like Dante, you have to really like Dante.
He has to be your favorite character to want to pull him.
And you have to be willing to spend $2,000 on top of it.
Yeah. So you you got to meet criteria to
Take
pull
it with a
Dante.
grain of salt.
Dante, I don't think you can even summon Dante in this because somebody asked in chat. I will actually check up on that because it might be.
So
Dante
I'm
is.
curious because apparently Dante
You can
follows
summon
the-
for Dante at SSS. by the way.
Yeah, but will that stay after he leaves?
Nope. He's limited.
Yeah, that's
will-
why I was like,
he
it
has,
makes
he
no
has the
sense.
time mark.
Dude,
if you
it
go
makes
to
no
divs-
sense to put him in the div after Triple S. Then I don't see why.
I mean,
why do
They
that?
wanted to make the tickets more streamlined throughout everything, right?
That's true.
Like you've got the special summons. These are the set rules. We don't want to break it. I think it makes sense to me.
That's true. Alright,
I'm
I didn't
way
see it
more
that
happy
way.
with this system. I'm way more happy with this system than I was with the MHken system because MHken was 10 times more expensive than Dante's because of this system, because you can use your divs for the last 10 copies.
You're the first
And those
person
10
to say
copies
that.
are really expensive.
You're the first person I've actively heard, seen, or anything in that statement. Because boy, oh boy, here's the other thing that blows my mind. Everyone hated Monster Hunter Ken's event, but now people are like saying, "Oh, Monster Hunter Ken's event is better because it had pity." I'm just like,
I
man,
was
you
one
can't
of the
win,
first
my
people
guy.
to say that MHken event was really great, especially because you could hire MHken for 3 days and speed up your progress by a mile.
They need to bring that back. Why do
No,
we not have that for other units? I was spoiled with that.
3 days in. I was 3 days in when MHken event started. I made so much progress because of that one extra unit that I had.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do that for other units. I feel like they spoil. I'm spoiled. I want to test other units when you launch them because that Monster Hunter Ken, he helped me to go past 1540 so hard.
I think Dante. I think we can round up the Dante discussion with he's pretty neat for what he does, but he's not meta defining. I wouldn't say he's worth it for existing players. I wouldn't say that he's worth it for new players. Mechanically speaking, you have to play him on auto. Maybe they rebalance him later, but there's the overlying problem is the balancing issue in the game. How about
If
sound
they
like a
would
pretty
rebalance him
summary?
after, he would get put out of the shop and you couldn't get him anymore. That would piss off so many people.
Yeah, you'd have to balance him now.
I just don't see it happening. I think he's a
I
decent
agree.
unit, nevertheless, but I don't think he's a must-have. And unless you have infinite pockets and you're an old print or something, don't go for him, man. If you want a whale, go for a bison. Go for
Nah. I'll counter you. Top 8 mentioned something that's even better. If you're gonna whale in this event, whale for Dante's EX move. I think Dante's
His
EX move is way better than him.
his X move is good, but it is not great. It's especially not as good as MH Ken's for the reason that it's a percentage chance.
Ah.
It is not a guarantee that it will. Wait, is it a guarantee?
I think
No,
I
it is-
thought
okay,
it was.
no,
I
that's
thought it was a guarantee.
No, it wasn't a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. I'm trying to find the X move, but I know for a fact that it wasn't 100%.
Also,
Where is it?
top H
I
mentions.
have the graphic.
You have
I
it.
have the graphic. I'll post it up.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'll post it up in the chat. I have the graphic.
Top 8 says Dante's ES move is in the scroll shop, limited with resources that's super hard to get. In the Monster Hunter Ken event, I got 3-star EX move, which is busted while also pulling for Ken. That's also another thing. They separated the EX move versus with the unit.
Yeah, that is also why I spent a bit on MH Ken. Like I just have an S MH Ken, but I have a level 1 MH Ken X move, and I'm only missing 10 shards, which I'll probably never get. No, excuse me, 18 shards to get a level 2. But that was so nice to just be able to summon a bit, test your luck. If you didn't get luck, you'll at least have the X move.
Yeah, that
You'll at least be set
was
with that.
really good. I didn't even realize that they separated it like that.
Yeah, and especially I've never pulled an X move with their shards.
Bro,
I've never done that.
I don't think anyone has. I need to see evidence because
I know a
yet
fair
to
few
do it.
people that have, and I was so pissed.
I've yet, and that's the other thing that I'm bothered by is how little we get to be able to pull. Like we get a 1 or 2 a week. Like what am I gonna do with that?
I think we just
tell
need
you
to
a
add a
story.
pity system back because I've done 400 divs for a single trendy Kami copy. I've never gotten an X move. I've honestly been really subpar with Akuma summons. I think they need to bring it back to keep this game alive because honestly, the 2% chance doesn't feel like 2% chance.
We need to gather all the content creators to assemble the Voltrons of asking for pity back.
We're gonna get a new Avengers team or what?
Yeah,
The Discord Avengers.
We need a Discord Avengers so they could fight the boss that is top join Crunchyroll to earn pity back.
And A+. Don't forget A+.
And A+.
I'm on A+.
Sorry, and A+. I can't disrespect A+. The 3 final bosses, we gotta beat them to get pity back.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I also want to address is they need the patch notes to say everything. Because I was so surprised when I looked in this Discord on Wednesday and I just saw people like, oh, you can upgrade cars now, by the way. And I didn't have any copies extra, so I was like, okay, yeah, no, that must be fake. That's just a screenshot from the Chinese versions.
I gotta clarify. Final boss is Top Joy, not Crunchyroll or A+. So we gotta fight Top Joy for the final boss.
I'll just take a trip to China, then it's fine.
Yeah, just yell at them very gently, like, "Hey guys, can we please have this back?" Because that's the other thing is it's like I actually want to take this time in terms of like game feedback. It's super important. A lot of people have been like up and down with game feedback, and they're feeling as if they're not being heard. Everyone's being heard. We are obviously very loud. It's just you have to take into consideration how long it takes to work on something, also what they're choosing to work on, and also take into consideration that they are working on a game already that they have to bring new events. They have to fix certain things like bugs and stuff like that. So, taking in feedback on top of all of that, all we ask is patience and give them some time. I just wanted to throw that out. And also for those that are hearing, in the Discord, we have a room where it's game feedback. You can put your feedback in. Be concise, be clear, be respectful. That's the other thing that a lot of people are not understanding. This is not a place to rant when you're trying to put feedback. Do not just say game bad, you suck. Cause like one, that's not gonna get to the devs, and two, like think about put yourselves in the terms of the devs. If someone said game bad, you suck, I'm just gonna take you as a joke. You know, and here's the other thing: people, devs are human. They have feelings too. So you know, sometimes you don't want to hurt the feelings of the horse that's feeding you. You know, the times of the topics of bringing up pity and rigged. Yeah, I keep saying this. This is my personal opinion. But if pity and rig was a thing before, and then people complained about it, the simplest solution is to get rid of what people are complaining about it, not fix it. I'm thinking about me. I'm in a mind of I'm lazy. I already have like 30 hours of work to do in one day, and someone's asking me that something that I could just fix by hitting the delete button. Best believe I'm hitting the delete button. That's just all I'm saying.
I just want to say, as somebody studying for becoming a software dev, thank you for calling us human. We aren't, just to make that clear. We're just robots, according to basically everyone. I'm
It's
just
insane.
going to confirm that we are robots, but thank you still.
For
considering us human.
I'm being serious because I'm not gonna lie. Like before coming to the server, I was one of those players where I'll be like, "Damn, devs are dumb. They didn't do this, that, and the third." But now coming into the server, learning a little bit more about like the business of a game and seeing a little bit at being as a moderator, seeing a little bit of behind the scenes. I'm not saying I'm a Crunchyroll person. It's just that information that is shared, you see certain things and understand things differently. You know, like when Dino explains things, he doesn't just say this is this. He says this is this because of this, to as best as he can. Obviously, you know, he can't just be like, here's trade secrets, mofo, and yada yada. But you know, like devs are humans. Yeah, like y'all they're working hard. And we don't know how big the team is. Hell, it could be a 5-man squad for all we know that's running 3 different regions. I hope not. But you know, like be patient with devs, be patient with Crunchyroll. You know, I'm not saying don't call out bad businesses, don't call out toxic stuff. Do what you gotta do, but keep the same energy on the other side. If you see that they're doing good, you gotta acknowledge that they're doing good, while also seeing that they're doing bad. That's my 2 cents on that one. I would say.
Mm-hmm. Also, I have a random question because I was just scrolling through the application, and I was just like, this might be a interesting subject. What do you guys consider to be more valuable? +2 engravings or the boost on kit?
+2 engravings or what?
Or the boost on kits to get your units to +30.
I've yet to see a boost on kit. I saw it. People said they saw it once in the event thing and never again.
Oh, so basically now you can buy 12 boost on kits. You need about 300 stones to get to +30. For 40 of those, what are they called? Demon Soul Stones. Or you can get 1 +2 kits that you can choose between tech, agility, and power for 50. So basically, I'm just going to change it to 200 because that's really even. You can get 60 boost stones, which is 20% of a full +30, or you can get a full +2 set.
Well, here's the thing. From what I noticed, a +2 engraving is like 50k power. Instant. A +1 is 20k power. So like that's a lot.
Yeah, it adds power, and I have a +2 set of everything, so I can also just tell you the stats or like stream it, and you can look at it.
Yeah,
if you want.
So
and compare them.
So if we're gonna how can we compare the engravings to the fighting spirit in terms of like what it gives you in terms of power and abilities? Because fighting spirit technically unlocks a character and makes them a little bit different. Versus...
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's base stats versus like a direct buffs to a character.
Yeah.
That also change the way their kit works.
I guess
what is more valuable?
More important? I don't know, man. As Dawson having fighting spirit 30 is really, really good, but I do acknowledge that when I did it on all +1 engravings on them, I felt the damage increase. Like I was looking at these numbers and I'm like, oh, that wasn't like that before.
Yeah, and the thing is that once you get to a certain point, I think it's after completing stage 29, which is where you're at right now, when the Shadow Loot shop hits at 200%, you can get +2 engravings, 2 of them, for I think 2,000 gems.
That's really good because someone did a document breaking down pricings from gems compared to items, and he mentioned that a T1 engraving in the value of gems is $50. I don't know how true that is.
That is based on the
Off of gem values of the basics of what you can buy gems off of, like just not the travel perks,
because
just like buying gems outright. That's what he did. He was just like, all right, how can I make this a general average? And he basically took how much one gem would cost in the gem package, not not travel packs or anything like that. And then he averaged out the total, and he was like that the value of a T1 is basically $50 worth of gems.
Yeah. About gear, by the way, please, anyone that is willing to spend, do not buy the gear that they're trying to sell you. $50 for 2 pieces of legendary gear is never worth it. You'll reach a timing campaign where you can buy it from the shop for 70k guild points, and it's a guaranteed legendary, and it is way more valuable.
There are alternatives.
And sure, it'll take more time.
If you're going to spend, I do agree that buying the gear would not be the best choice of purchases, as travel perks existing here, the crusade things.
Yeah, travel those perks are like and subscriptions are so nuts.
Yeah, if you're gonna spend, please spend on those. They'll give you the most big bang for your buck in your account. Because telling others not to spend and how to spend has been a spicy topic, because especially how everyone's judging how other people spend on terms of Dante and stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, I spent enough to like know a bit of the value. I'm not going to say that I spent everything perfectly, because I didn't. Oh God, forgive me. But I'm going to say that I've never purchased the gear, because that is just such outrageous value that you need to spend you need to use $100 just to get 4 pieces, just SS. It's not SS +1. It is not +2, because you can buy those upgrades as well for $100 each. So if you want a full T1 set, just spending money, you'll have to use another $1. If you want to upgrade that to T2, that is another $100.
Yeah, that's a lot.
No, I did not wail on it, man.
That's a lot.
There's no way. It is never worth it. Like, you're using $300 for basic gear that you'll be able to get pretty easily after a certain point.
Yeah, that's the one thing that again, I'm noticing a lot of people just don't read in terms of like comparing what's worth, what is necessary, what the game will give you, and like the game, it's this is going to be controversial probably, but my guys, ladies and gentlemen, Street Fighter Duel is free to play friendly. You legitimately do not have to spend money on the game. It gives you so many resources. It gives you so many things. It is free to play friendly. But
I laugh at it every time when people make that statement, because I just know they've never played a different gacha in their life.
Yeah, it's nuts.